The Valvoline Motorsport Ireland National Forestry Championship for 2019 springs back to life here in New Ross for the opening round of the Willie Lockman Memorial Carrick Forest Rally. The quality of this expanding championship is underlined yet again this season, with so many of the registered crews from last year returning to resume old rivalries in the woods.
After all the Trojan work behind the scenes over the Christmas and New Year break, there was a stellar lineup for the opening round of the new season with Barry McKenna, Sam Moffat, Gary Jennings and Marty McCormick, just some of the top drivers sure to be vying for the overall win.
Really looking forward to it. Great atmosphere down here. There's a great number of crews here, so should be really good.
Last two rounds didn't go well, but no, back again. First round today. See what happens.
Yeah, it's good to come down here. I think it's good to blow the cobwebs out at the start of the year and hopefully enjoy ourselves.
Andrew, you know what it takes to win here. You won this event last year.
First time winning the local rally after many attempts, so hard to say no. Car sitting in the garage and we were like, right, come on, let's go. So we put a late entry in and today's fun.
The two-wheel drive battle would pit current and former champions against each other as Shane McGurr, Mickey Conlon and David Crossan were back to contest the series once again. There was a change in the junior section for 2019 with Class 16A for cars with a little extra power under the hood and Class 16 for the standard spec cars. Derek Mackerel and Marty Gallagher were among the top 16A drivers, while last year's J1000 champion James Murphy made the step up to Class 16.
Be a bit of a challenge, but sure, look, we'll have a crack anyway and go for it and see what happens.
A lot of bad luck last year, but hopefully this year is our year now to shine. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, look, at the new season, we've sorted out a few issues in the car over the winter and really looking forward to the season.
Despite losing its champion, the J1000 class had swelled its ranks once again with 8 crews signed up for the opening round, including Ireland's youngest female rally driver, Ella Conway.
It's so exciting. It's your first event out today in the J1000s.
Yeah, no pressure. I'm hoping to see more girls out in the sport. It's a great experience and I'm really looking forward to today.
Among the J1000 contenders was another rally debutant, Casey J. Coleman, son of club chairman and event co-sponsor James Coleman of Sureway Forklifts.
Now we have 2 generations of Colemans here. James, you are our sponsor today.
Yeah, sponsoring the event again. Obviously very much involved with Carrick Motor Club like forever at this stage, and it's great. It's great.
And of course, your son, KCJ, you're out today in the J1000s. It's your first time to ever get behind the wheel.
Yeah, first time ever rallying, so looking forward to get going.
Another father-son combo saw former champion Ray Breen enlist the help of WRC star Craig as they tackled their local event.
Ray, former champion, it's absolutely great to have you back to this event.
Yeah, it's just a one-off planned over Christmas, so looking forward to it. And I managed to persuade him to sit in as well, so we'll see how the day goes.
Craig, normally seen behind the wheel. The notes today, are you looking forward to that?
No, not really, to be completely honest with you. But no, hey, we're looking forward to it. I haven't done it in a long time, but the last time we did it, we won together, so we'll see how it goes.
It was a very cold, damp and foggy start to the day, with the fog even leading to the eventual cancellation of the third stage.
3, 2, 1, go. 200.
Leading after the opening loop was the Skoda Fabia R5 of Marty McCormick and Barney Mitchell. The Derry crew were second fastest on the opener, but took over the lead after a great time on stage 2 and held a 5.6 second lead at the halfway point.
Very long and it nips. There it is, 150.
Having shown great pace last year on his debut season in the Fiesta R5, Andrew Purcell was back to contest the championship once again, and the local man was second to McCormick despite some touch and go moments across the morning stages.
and 4 left, fast, 150, long flat 2 left over crest, and flat crest, 170.
Making a welcome return to the forests was former champion Gary Jennings, with Rory Kennedy navigating in the McKinstry Subaru S14. A big change from the last time he competed in this neck of the woods in a Peugeot 106. The pair were quickest out of the blocks but slipped to third after stage 2, albeit just 0.7 of a second off Purcell. Sam Moffat's unprecedented treble-winning season in 2017 was followed by a relatively quiet 2018 as the Monaghan driver focused on work commitments. But he was back in action for the opening round of the 2019 Forestry Championship and held 4th place with James Fulton calling the notes in the Fiesta R5. Pipped to the title by Sam's younger brother Josh Moffat last year, Barry McKenna was back for another tilt at the championship. This time with Josh's tarmac-winning navigator Andy Hayes in the hot seat, and the pair were 5th after the opening loop. Former junior champion Patrick O'Brien had been 5th overall after the opening test, but his rally ended with mechanical trouble just 1 kilometre into stage 2. Brendan Comiskey debuted his Skoda Fabia R5 at the Galway Summer Rally in August of 2018, finishing 2nd overall with navigator Ronan O'Kane, and the pair were holding 6th so far on the car's 2nd event to date. After a handful of test events in the Citroën DS3 R5 last year, Niall Henry and Damien Duffin were back for a full tilt at the 2019 championship in the ex-Johnny Greer machine. It was an unusual sight, but a welcome one to see Craig Breen in the navigator's seat as he called the notes for his dad Ray in the Ford Fiesta R5. It was very much a fun run for the pair as they enjoyed a cut on their local forestry event.
4 right tightens and 3 left. 100. Flat 1 right past the lay by 300. 300 then to a double caution, deceptive late, 4 left. Double caution, deceptive late, 4 left.
In Class 4 for Group N machinery, Niall McCullough was holding the early lead with defending Group N navigating champion Ryan McCluskey on the notes in the Evo 9.
And the 2 left, don't cut. 40 up the middle, 1 left line, 3 right long, 1 left now, 3 right long, slowing into open hairpin left up the hill.
5.7 seconds further back in 2nd was a similar machine of fellow Tyrone driver Austin Snow, who kept the power down well for this save on stage 2. David Crossan set the pace in the 2-wheel drive battle across the morning stages. The 2017 champion had some reliability issues in his 2-litre Escort throughout 2018 and was hopeful of more consistency for the season ahead.
Yeah, 3 good runs there. Sure, everyone's telling you about the fog on the 3rd one. But Aileen done a brilliant job on the notes in there and kept me right, so it did. So I think our time's pretty good on the 3rd one.
Reigning 2-wheel drive champion Shane McGurr reported a massive moment on stage 3 and was over half a minute off the pace in the Toyota Starlet. Adrian Hetherington switched from his Toyota Corolla WRC back to his 2.5-litre Escort for 2019, and he was 3rd in the 2-wheel drive standings at the halfway point. No longer eligible for the junior class, William Creighton was leading Class 2 and held 4th in the 2-wheel drive standings, with Liam Regan navigating in the Peugeot 208 R2.
First 3 stages went well for us. Very tricky, a lot of fog in the last one, so glad to be at the first service.
2nd in class was a similar machine of 2018 Young Rally Driver of the Year James Wilson, who had Arthur Kearns calling the notes.
Yeah, William got 10 seconds on us there, but no, we're happy enough. We equalled him on the previous stage, and we were 2 back, I think, on the first stage. So, yeah, happy enough, good benchmark, and we'll just go from there.
In the standard Class 16 battle, Shane Keneally was setting the pace with Ger Connors navigating in the Honda Civic. And a newcomer to the series was Josh McErlane, who got off to a fine start as he led the A class with former champion Liam Moynihan navigating in the 208 R2.
60 over slippy, narrow 4 left half long, in over crest, narrow 4, 100 going down, turn to 1 right in, up, get drive now. And Carrick and Josh, 7 over crest, 150.
Josh was coming under immense pressure from Derek Mackerel, however, who was a mere 0.6 of a second behind in his Vauxhall Nova. Nerves of steel required once again from navigator Murren Hayes.
5 right, 100 up the middle. 5 left and long, 5 left.
The junior class is always a hotly contested category, and Marty Gallagher had been in second place before slipping to third in his Peugeot 208. The J1000 class is open to 15 to 19-year-olds driving 1-litre cars, and leading after the opening loop were newcomers Rhys Pollock and Ashley Bolton, who were setting great times in the Nissan Micra.
Right on crest and a 5 left, 130 down the middle. 5 left, 130 down the middle.
Last year's runners-up, Peter Beaton and Conor Boylan from Scotland, had no answer to the class leaders and trailed by almost a minute at the halfway point. After taking over the class lead in Stage 2, it proved a disappointing debut for Marcus McElwee, with John Henderson navigating in the Skoda Citigo. The Derry crew slipped off the road in front of our camera on Stage 3. No major damage done, except maybe to pride. Chalk it up to experience, Marcus. No dramas for Donegal crew Kyle and Kieran McBride, who were third in class on their forestry debut in the Toyota Aygo. Former karting champion Aaron Whelan had a taste of the J1000 class at his home event in Cork last year, and he was back for more action in his Nissan Micra for 2019.
And 2 left over bump at the gate, so like, here's your chicane. And 2 left over bump at the gate, and 62, 1 right over crest, 150.
Joe Kelly made the long trip down from Donegal and was showing good car control in the Toyota Aygo. Mayo's Ella Conway was also making her rallying debut, and at 16 years of age, Ella is the youngest female rally driver in the country.
Down to a 2 right, this is your 2 right, 40, 3 right, don't cut, 100, this is your 3, and you have 100, and 1 right over bumps.
Back at the head of the overall standings, and it's tight at the top with Marty McCormick leading from Andrew Purcell in second, Gary Jennings third, Sam Moffat fourth, and Barry McKenna in fifth.
Extreme fog is causing major challenges for drivers and navigators alike here at the opening round of the Valvoline Motorsport Ireland National Forestry Championship. But we've 3 epic stages to come. Join us for more after the break.
Welcome back to New Ross in County Wexford, the headquarters for this year's Willie Lockman Forest Rally, organised by Carrick Motor Club. Thankfully, the morning fog had cleared in time for the afternoon stages, where rally leaders Marty McCormick and Barney Mitchell extended their overall lead to 6 seconds over stages 4 and 5.
Repeat tight 5 left, nips in, and turn square right, tight in. Repeat, turn square right, tight in. 170. Turn 4 right, max in. Repeat, turn 4 right, max in, 150.
As Gary Jennings continued to reacquaint himself with loose surface rallying, the Fermanagh driver got to grips with the Subaru WRC, setting fastest time on stage 4 as it climbed from 3rd to 2nd overall. Margins were tight, and Andrew Purcell was 2 seconds slower than Jennings on stage 4 as he lost time with some ragged moments in the Fiesta R5. There's no doubting his pace though, and the Waterford man went quickest over stage 5 to close within a second of Jennings with 1 stage remaining.
To 1 left over crest, 50, line past 4 left over crest, 150, bus stop chicane left entry, bus stop chicane left entry,
into long 3 left, don't cut. 150, slippy braking, hairpin left. Speed 150, slippy braking.
There was a change at the top of the two-wheel drive standings as dominant pace setters David Crossan and Aileen Kelly succumbed to a puncture and mechanical trouble on stage 4. Taking over the category lead were Shane McGurr and Liam McIntyre. The Toyota Starlet crew had 23 seconds to spare over closest rivals Adrian Hetherington and Gary Nolan in the Ford Escort Mark II. Before we see how the overall battles conclude, we turn to the various classes now, and taking the Class 2 win was Antrim crew William Creighton and Liam Regan in the Peugeot 208 R2. After a tour of duty with the Irish Defence Forces cut his season short last year, Lee Bracken was back for a full tilt at the Class 9 Championship, and he finished second in class at the opening round with Francis Kelly navigating in the Honda Civic. A local crew just out for a day's fun in the Peugeot 205, class winners PJ Doyle and Peter Ryan were not registered for the championship. Reigning Class 10 champions Mike Garrahy and Irla McCarthy got their title defence off to a winning start at round 1 of the championship. Paul McMahon and Padraig Deasy won Class 11F in their Honda Civic. James Dunphy and Shane Gaisley were back to defend their Class 11R title and took another convincing win in the Toyota Corolla.
Tight into 5 and into a short 5 left again. And into a 5 again. Yeah.
Alright. Hey, go on.
2 left pumps at the gate, 60. 150.
Having only competed on selected rounds last year, Andrew Bustard and Mo Downey might be tempted to contest the full season this year as they took the Class 12 win at the opening round. The very competitive Class 13 battle saw Damien McGowan and Michaela McGinn finish third in their BMW 320. John Gordon and Thomas Wedlock weren't happy with their pace in the Ford Escort, but second in the 2-litre class was a good result for the opening round of the championship. Taking second in the 2.5-litre Class 14 battle, Mickey Conlon and Keir McPhillips were third in the two-wheel drive standings and 19th overall. Tyrone crew Adrian Hetherington and Gary Nolan finished 16th overall and took second in the two-wheel drive battle, 13.2 seconds behind class winners Shane McGurr and Liam McIntyre. The Fermanagh Donegal pairing finished 15th overall in the Toyota Starlet.
We were lucky to finish. We kept our head together and got it back to finish, you know. And points make prizes, really, don't they?
Absolutely, well done.
Aye, thank you.
To the junior categories now, and taking the J1000 win on his forestry debut was Rhys Pollock, with John Burke navigating in the Nissan Micra.
Rhys, it's your very first time to rally in the forestry, but it's a big difference though, getting into the gravel.
It's a lot slider and you have to concentrate way more.
Yeah. And you enjoyed it?
Oh, aye.
In Class 16, Shane Keneally and Ger Connors took a dominant win of over 47 seconds in the Honda Civic.
It's great to be back now as well. I haven't rallied in a year and a half and we had a great day, loved it.
Great start to your championship.
Yeah, roll on to the next one. Can't wait.
In Class 16A, Marty Gallagher and Niall Burns couldn't improve on third place in the Peugeot 208 R2. With less than a second between the top two throughout the day, the battle for the top junior went down to the wire. And having gone into the final test with a 1-second lead in the Vauxhall Nova, Derek Mackerel and Myrne Hayes had to settle for the runner-up spot in the end, as Josh McErlane and Liam Moynihan put in a great drive across the final stage to win the class by 7.2 seconds in the 208 R2.
Yeah, it's been a great day. We struggled in the morning with traction, but I came in the second lap, so yeah, we're delighted.
To the four-wheel drive classes now, and taking the Class 15 win and 18th overall was the Toyota Corolla WRC of John Reid and Enda Shields. Donald Sweeney and Dean O'Sullivan led Class 20 and held 7th overall going into the afternoon stages, but they retired with mechanical trouble not far into stage 4. Also out were Ger Lucy and Padraig O'Donovan, who were third in class before retiring halfway through the final stage. Keith Power and Seamus O'Grady took third in Class 20 and finished 14th overall in the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 9. 14 seconds ahead, Joe Hegarty and David Turkington took second in class and 13th overall in their similar machine.
400 the other side of it. 400. And then go. And then go. 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 Get your foot on her. No, chicane. Right entry.
But taking the Class 20 win and 12th overall with 8 seconds to spare were Michael Carbon and Conor Mohan in another Mitsubishi. In Class 4 for Group N cars, Austin Snow and John Henderson went into the penultimate test holding second in class and 9th overall. But they retired with mechanical trouble before the end of the stage. No problems for former junior champions Stephen Dixon and Tommy Hayes, who took 3rd in class and 17th overall in the Evo 9. Kildare's Peter McCullough took 2nd in class and finished 11th overall with navigator Callum Maguire. But taking the Group N win and 6th overall was Tyrone Crew, Niall McCullough and Ryan McCluskey in the Mitsubishi Evo 9. Reigning Class 4 champion Conor McCourt made the switch to Class 5 for 2019 and he finished 6th in class and 10th overall with Caelan McKenna calling the notes in the Fiesta R5.
Short pull right, 40, turn square right, neat, stone outside, go 150, care on the crest, tight 4 left, square right, go 150, care.
5 seconds ahead, Brendan Comiskey and Ronan O'Kane brought their slightly damaged Skoda Fabia R5 to 5th in class and 9th overall. 3rd in the overall championship last year, Callum McCourt clipped a rock on stage 1 and damaged the steering rack in his Fiesta R5, dropping to 37th overall. He recovered well to claim 4th in Class 5 and 8th overall with navigator Barry McNulty.
It's all okay, don't cut it, it nips all the way, but it's all okay. For 150, on crest, 60, tidy for 4 right, and you have 40 to a left-hand chicane. You have 40 left-hand chicane. 100.
Eight seconds ahead in 7th, it was a good opening round for Niall Henry and Damien Duffin, who took 3rd in class in the Citroen DS3R5. Not quite on the pace of last year, Barry McKenna had to settle for 2nd in class and 5th overall with navigator Andy Hayes. Taking the Class 5 trophy and 4th overall, Sam Moffat and James Fulton just missed out on a podium finish by 2 seconds to the Subaru WRC of Gary Jennings and Rory Kennedy, who have been pushing for the overall win before dropping to 3rd place on the final stage. Andrew Purcell and Mark Wiley put in an almighty push on the final test in a last-ditch attempt for the overall win, and the ditch is nearly where they ended up. Thankfully, the R5 ploughed on to finish 2nd overall. But there was no catching Marty McCormick and Barney Mitchell, who took over the lead in Stage 2 and held it until the end, arriving back to rally headquarters at the Rue Glen Hotel with over 10 seconds to spare in the Skoda Fabia R5.
Really surprised, to be honest with you. We didn't expect this coming down the road, but we got off on a good foot. We had a good run the first few stages, and then we just built on that and worked with it. So, no, it was all good.
So, a worthwhile trip down from Derry sees Marty McCormick and Barney Mitchell take the win at the Willie Lockman Forest Rally and pride of place at the top of the leaderboard after the opening round of the 2019 Valvoline Motorsport Ireland Forest Rally Championship.
Marty McCormick's bid to take the 2019 Valvoline Motorsport Ireland National Forestry title is off to a phenomenal start as he takes first place points and maximum championship points on that all-important leaderboard. Join us next time when we head to Limerick. We'll see you then.